So this morning when I walked out the door, it was like kind of sunny. We've been having some rain, but there was definitely a break in the weather, and there's a spot that I found and I wanted to come out here and fly. Nice, super green area and lots of rolling hills, cool little like windmill, everything. I get out here, of course, it's just pouring rain now. So I don't think I looked at the weather. It doesn't matter if I'm going to sit here and wait it out or not. Definitely not going to be able to go fly. Just going to head to the shop and get things done. But I tried to get some flying in this morning at a spot I thought was actually going to look pretty nice. I'm going to come back here though, because it definitely, I think, will look good on camera more than it will pretty much anywhere else. But seriously, all this rain has really been putting a damper just like on my mood to be creative with things. I feel like not being able to have the sun and being out there and everything, it's just hard. It's like having like a mental writer's block, but like a video block or something like that. Plus, like, I'm all stuffed up. I feel sick again and everything, and it's just hard. I just don't want to talk too much and have my voice go out again. So I just can't wait for sunnier days and not feeling this whole head cold situation going on. Anyways, one thing that I am going to do today, since I can't do anything out there, is I've been meaning to do like an update, like what are my settings on my GoPro and how I like basically do everything. So yeah, we're gonna head over to the table over there. I can set up my tripod and give you guys like a really good look of my settings, what I do, and how like I basically export everything to try and get like the crispiest video possible. Sometimes YouTube shuts me down and compresses my video even more. For example, like my long range poppy explosion video that I'll link above, that one, the actual video looks really good. The YouTube version doesn't look that great. But yeah, let's go through all our GoPro settings. Alright, so let's talk about my GoPro over here. I pretty much always run this mount right here. This is the Ethics Facehugger mount for protection while I'm flying, and it really does a good job of basically just keeping this thing alive. If you have any crashes or anything, this thing kind of folds down and it bounces off of here. So this is really a must for all my GoPros that I use this. As a nice snug fit, and when it's strapped down with one of the Ethics GoPro straps, this thing really does not move anywhere. Another addition to strapping it down, I always have some of this fuzzy sided Velcro down here, and this pretty much just goes onto my wedge mount where I have the other piece of Velcro and just holds everything really in place. Now you guys can see here I use the Ethics ND4 filter on the front of here. Now this is tempered glass, so it is a screen protector. It will protect your screen in a crash, and you could just put a new one of these on. If you get the kit for it, it comes with actually a clear one too. What I like to do is these lenses come off of the Hero 7. I like to just keep one always that has this filter, and then I could pop it off and put on a clear one if it starts getting dark and I need to have a clear lens on there. So let's turn this thing on and go through the settings. Alright, so I'm going to try and keep this as still as possible so we could go through this menu and you guys could see what's going on. So, Pro Tune is on. It allows you to go into your settings and fine tune everything for how you basically want to get this set up. So if you look, the last thing I was on was 1080p at 120 frames per second. I changed my resolution just depending on what I want to do, but 120 frames per second runs in 1080p, and I leave that on Super View. If you look, like I said, I've been always running the stabilization off because I just haven't trusted it too much with the FPV flying here. And my shutter speed, I have it at auto. A lot of times, sometimes I bump it up to double the actual frames per second. That's just because to compensate for like the ND filter. There's all kinds of videos on that if you guys want to look that up. One thing I have been running is a flat color profile and my sharpness on medium. I feel like having a flat color profile just gives me a little bit of just extra room in post to get the colors and everything to pop exactly like I want to. And the sharpness on medium, I feel like sometimes it just adds more to that compression and everything that YouTube struggles with already. And when I have it on sharp, I feel like my details and everything just get washed out even more. So having it on medium just allows me to work with it a little bit more. The mics, the raw audio, all this stuff, none of that stuff is anything that I mess with. So this is my settings that I primarily use, and a lot of times lately I'll be going into 4K, just because 4K 30, which is what I really like to run. I have that, oh, hit the wrong thing. I run that on Super View over here, because who doesn't like 4K on Super View? I mean, come on, I'm like way over here and you can see my hand. So yeah, 4K Super View, 30 frames per second. It's a larger file, but it looks awesome. It gives me the best quality image I could use to upload to YouTube, and that is primarily what I shoot at for the most part. And if I want like a smaller file and everything, I could jump into 2.7K. That's fine as well. You could also change your aspect ratio up here, 4:3, 16:9. I'm usually on 16:9 unless something calls for me to be 4:3 and I need that different profile just to be able to work with it and post a little more. Very rarely does that come up for me. For the most part, I'm in 16:9. So that's basically my settings. So after I get all my shooting for the day and I download it onto my hard drive, I put everything into a 4K timeline in Final Cut Pro X, and I start editing, and then I use compressor for Final Cut Pro X to basically get everything saved in a 4K format to upload to YouTube, and then I just basically let YouTube do its thing from there. So yeah, that's pretty much primarily all the settings that I do use. Outside of my camera settings, that's always on 1080p 24 frames per second. So the only thing is my flight footage. Like I said, I try and keep that around 30 frames per second in 4K, and if I need to do anything else, I just kind of bump it up to 120 frames per second or whatever, depending on the shot and what I want to do. So lately I've been kind of liking some slow-mo stuff, and I've been running it in 1080p 120 frames per second. So it just all depends, but that is primarily my main Hero 7 settings. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I hope the rain clears up. Tomorrow I'm going to be heading out to Huntington to work more with the Optic guys. Optic kicks. Whatever. I need to get used to saying that. I always mess it up. Anyways, I'm going to be working with those guys, and yeah, that should be pretty fun. So hopefully I'll have some stuff over there. It should be sunny, and I should be able to fly, finally. Alright, I'll see you guys.